Greetings, this is Classic Games Redefined. My name's Rich, and this isn't a Universal Mutator video, it's an application of Universal Mutator video. It's also a way for me to reshoot another video I did on a Universal Mutator I did for Mutator Monday. What we're doing here now is we're looking at the massive multiplayer Vox Populi format. It was earlier known as Vox Populi, and just through my describing it ended up becoming massive multiplayer. In a prior video I did, I applied it to Connect 4. But here, Captain's Mistress is public domain. Here, we're going to apply it to chess and also re-go over the Mutator again. That's why we're doing it. The way this Mutator works, the massive multiplayer Vox Populi format, is you can take any two-player abstract strategy game like this, maybe even one that's not a pure abstract strategy game, but usually suitable for this, and turn it into a large-scale party game. What we're going to look at here is the way to play this on live and in person. Head-to-head in person. You can also do a version of this, which I'll probably discuss a little bit here, but my main focus is where you can discuss how to do it online, but we're actually going to show the version here. What you do is you have your audience, your crowd of players here. There's nobody sitting at the side. The reason why was you take your crowd, you divide them up, and one side would go here. You want to divide it as evenly as possible. I could have cost them a little bit differently, and this just represents a crowd of 5. I could add more players per side as you want. You can go as low as 3 players, which ends up being 1 player versus 2. But the way it works is that when it's this side's turn, these players will collectively amongst themselves, and that's what these little pawn things represent that we have down here. I did represent men. I would have used meeples, but whatever. You get the point. They represent people doing here. They're discussing amongst themselves. Well, this is going on. The time's running down on their thing. You're going to have a clock here. And I just have it set to a timepiece as opposed to a timer. And what you're going to do here is they collectively decide which move they want to do. And they're under pressure to do it. So they have to decide whether they want to appoint a leader, anything else doing it this way. There's risks. Usually the alpha situation will pop up, and the alpha gamer is the one person who takes a leadership role and will end up driving it while everybody goes along for a free ride. That can happen here, but I'll explain in a minute how you still can be participating even if you're not fully involved in it. What you do here is the game will go on, you would make your moves, the side goes here, and goes back and forth with making a decision, but that's only part of it. The second part here, I'll show you what it was, is let's say while we're playing this game out here and the pieces are moving, it's this team's turn, the white side. Somebody can go, I don't think my team's going to win, and they could drop out. And now now, early on, it's where the pieces came from. They just drop out. And they're dealt with less players. And the way it works is that if you're in the game and your side wins, let's say black wins here, the dark pieces, these players that stayed in the game win, and let's say that guy dropped out, he doesn't win. And let's say as we're playing, 2 guys go across, and these guys drop out also. So we're going to actually put them closer to the edge of the board rather than the middle. They drop out. You have to mark what side they are part of. So let's say this side then wins. These players 3 win, and then these players would lose. Or conversely, let's say black won. Then let's say black won. Actually, sorry, black won. Therefore, this side would lose. I mean, if black wins, then this side wins, and that side loses. Also, a draw. You can either give a different spot for a draw, or say that they didn't win. So if it drawed, they would go here like this here. They end up dropping out, and if their side wins or loses, it's if they drop out and their side loses, then they win, and vice versa. So you're trying to play together as a team, but you get to drop out. What you can do here, on the other hand, one thing is that if you're doing the internet, and I'll show what's going to happen here, and then I have to clear up one more condition here, happens afterwards. On the internet, if you have a voting mechanism, the way to account for the way the moves are, you might want to do 2 parts, is that you could defect to the other team, and they're part of the voting mechanism. You don't do this in the live version. You can try to if people are really games, but there's social dynamics involved that really people show loyalty to a group, and then they really don't want to go to the other team, and it's group acceptance. Anyhow, let's say as we're playing that this side's about ready to get checkmated. All the players decide at once, drop out together. unlike the other thing of, let's say all but one drops out. These sides could win, and that guy loses. However, if everybody drops out at once, or in the same turn, let's say they all drop out like this. What that means here is that they all lose, because they all dropped out together. However, let me explain something else a little bit different. We had this thing. Remember, let's say this guy early on felt the black side was going to lose, the dark side was going to lose. He drops out earlier. Then all the remaining players, and actually, you know what, we'll do it, and then later on in the game, somebody else drops out. And let's say this side drops out, because he doesn't think it's good. Then these sides here go across, and they drop out together. These guys, and that side lost. So what it was is that these side would win. This guy would lose, because he thought the white side was going to lose, but they won. And then these guys, they dropped out together. They don't win. They lost. It's equivalent to forfeiting. So that's how that works. And that's just one little more thing you have to be careful about when playing this here. I've done it a few times. It's gone well. It's an interesting group dynamic thing. It's a really good test of leadership. I really would like to do it more, and I'd love to get a version implemented online. But yeah, I just wanted to redo this. This is a re-implementation for it. We'll either have the card info section on the side here. As you see, it pops up this little eye thing. We'll have a link below to more details on this. So anyhow. Okay, so that's about the latest. I wanted to redo this, so that's what we're doing. We're playing it. You can play it any abstract strategy game, Go and checkers, or anything else. So that's the latest. So I do want to thank you for watching. May your die always roll 5. And remember, don't hate the player, change the game.